Why do students protest? What compels them to take to the streets, demand change, and challenge the authorities? Well, the answer often lies in a myriad of complex and intertwined issues. At the heart of student protests, you'll find a passionate desire for educational reform, a call for affordable or even free education, and a deep-seated need for social justice. These young, vibrant minds are not just demanding change, they're challenging the status quo, pushing boundaries, and stepping up to be the architects of their own futures. Political activism also plays a key role. Students, with their fresh perspectives and unyielding spirits, are often at the forefront of political change. They view their campuses as microcosms of the larger society, and hence a platform to voice their concerns and effect meaningful change. These student protests have not only shaped their immediate environment, but have also profoundly influenced societal change. As we delve into the heart of student protests, let's focus on a case study. Columbia University, a hotbed for student activism. Columbia University, a prestigious Ivy League institution, has a rich history of student activism. This history was first marked in 1968, when students took a stand against the Vietnam War and institutional racism. These protests were not merely a fleeting moment of youthful rebellion, but rather a significant turning point that highlighted the power of student voices. Over the years, Columbia University remained a hotbed for student activism. In the early 21st century, for instance, students began protesting against tuition hikes, voicing their concerns about the increasing financial burden of higher education. They also rallied against certain administrative decisions, pushing for greater transparency and accountability within the university. These historical events are more than just entries in a history book. They are a testament to the enduring spirit of student activism at Columbia University. They remind us that students have always been and continue to be at the forefront of advocating for change. The past has a way of echoing into the present, and Columbia University is no exception. Fast forward to today, the spirit of protest at Columbia University is as alive as ever. Students are rising, not just in response to the global issues that touch us all, but also to concerns closer to home. They're responding to dissatisfaction with administrative decisions, perceived lack of transparency, and the ever-rising costs of tuition. These issues are not unique to Columbia, but the response here is noteworthy. Students are taking their education beyond the classroom, embracing the power of collective voice and pushing for change. They're demanding better communication, better representation, and better treatment from the university they love and the administration that governs it. But it's not just about tuition hikes and administrative decisions. The current wave of student activism at Columbia is also deeply intertwined with calls for social justice reforms. These students are not just fighting for a more affordable education, they're also fighting for a more equitable one. Of course, the university's response to these protests is a critical part of the story. Some see the administration as a stubborn obstacle, while others view it as a potential ally in the quest for change. The truth likely lies somewhere in between. The tension between students and the university administration continues to escalate, and the question remains: where do we go from here? The future of student protests at Columbia University remains uncertain. As we look ahead, the potential outcomes vary as widely as the voices that fill the campus grounds. Some foresee a resolution, a compromise that satisfies both the university administration and the students. Others predict a more tumultuous path, with escalating protests and increasing discord. Columbia University's administration is not standing idle amidst these predictions. Plans are being developed to address the concerns of the students, to provide platforms for dialogue, and to foster an environment that encourages engagement rather than dissent. Yet the effectiveness of these measures will only be revealed in time. The potential impact on future generations of students is another key aspect to consider. The current wave of protests could inspire future students to stand up for their rights and beliefs, to question authority, and to demand change when necessary. Alternatively, it could also lead to a more cautious and restrained student body, wary of the potential fallout from such public displays of dissent. The future of student protests at Columbia University is not just about the present students or the current administration. It's about the legacy they leave behind, the culture they shape, and the principles they stand for. This is a narrative that is still being written, a story that continues to unfold. As the tensions persist, the voices of students continue to echo through the halls of Columbia University, demanding change and challenging the status quo.